Good evening, darlings. Welcome to another show with wonderful lineup. And now we are properly called Quibbles and Skitsaliers. Yes, and in the rest of the UK we have Brexiteers, and in France we have Musketeers, and yes. My mentor the other day said, Gordana, have you got round to it? And I was, round to what? Round to it. So the other day we were talking about, in the circle of friends, about our ideal man. And it turns out amongst us 8 women, 7 of them wrote down, described one person. Which, you know, and I could, very recognizably, could even name. I was one of the 8 who actually had 7 people, character traits in there. So here goes. That's how weird I am. So, wisdom, you know, according to all those memes in the public domain, Keanu Reeves, I mean, he just has the most wisdom, right? Voice, it has to be, so David Attenborough, oh, no. On the second thoughts, it has to be Morgan Freeman, because he's got like another 20 years left, right? So David Attenborough is kind of on his way out. I mean, both voices, oh yes. Because, you know, what do married people do? They sleep, right? So it would be very compatible with me. Now, fearlessness, relentlessness, and buns. I'm very physical. Those buns have got to be perky throughout his life. Usain Bolt. Yes, that is absolute essential quality. Now, dedication and weirdness of... and originality, authenticity of Daniel Day-Lewis. Stay alive! You know, in Last of the Mohicans. Oh my God, those noise animal. Ooh, yes, wonderful. Now, critical thinking. I'm kind of thinking I'm going east. Alexander Solzhenitsyn. Thank you so much. Yes. Obviously, visualization and practical gift to the humanity, and giving. Nikola Tesla, obviously. Sending it to all of you wirelessly. And a sense of humour of, well, my sense of humour. So yes, you've guessed it, I'm still single. How are we doing? Are we ready for the first lovely comedian to come to the set? Yes. So today we made it very special and easy for you. We start with Sean, we end with Sean, and then we have lots of wonderful melanges in the middle, you know what I mean? And I might even be able to pronounce their name. So let's bring the first comic onto the set, and that is one of my favorites, Sean Patrick.
Went to the doctors today to get a COVID booster. Now I've got a bad arm and a bad shoulder. It'll teach me to wank off the doctor. Don't worry, they're not all intellectual. I'm wearing Lynx Africa. Bloody Lynx, yeah. Bloody Lynx Africa, eh? Coming over here, working in our pits. Robocop, eh? PC gone mad. Now, no, it's a silly joke. Got a lot to get through. Had a difficult couple of days. I was kept awake all last night by the sound of 2 foxes having sex. And I said, you know, tonight you're in the spare room. And then, but perhaps because of that, I woke up this morning, and any gentleman watching, you may relate to this, woke up this morning with pins and needles in my penis. Don't know how they got there. And then to cap it all, I went for a full Brexit breakfast, which is very similar to a full English breakfast, but you sit on your own and everyone hates you. So I'm just checking my time because I get bored very easily. Now, the other thing I wanted to address, a lot of comedy these days is very woke. It's very woke, it's very left-wing, and I don't necessarily feel that's fair. So, in case, I'm going to tell a joke now for any Tories who are watching, any Conservatives. And what I've done, I've taken an old joke and I've put a twist on it. So it's an old joke, you'll know it, and the old joke goes, "My dog's got no nose. How does he smell? Terrible." Yeah, it's very funny. What I've done, I've taken that and I've put a twist on it. I'm going to ask the other members of the cast to help me. So, my dog's got no nose.
How does he smell?
Not my problem. Fuck him. But I would like to share with you, if I may, a poem I've written called Ode to a Wasp on a Summer's Day. Ode to a wasp on a summer's day. Oh, wasp! Fuck off! I'm currently single. Yeah, someone just, I don't know if the mic picked it up, someone just shouted out, "That's both surprising and unfair, Sean." Thank you for shouting out. Don't normally like hecklers, but it's opposite. And I struggle with women, if they like that sort of thing. And for some time I have lived a bachelor lifestyle, which means that most of my meals are a cup of soup. But it has been some time since I've had intimate carnal knowledge of a lady, because even when my wife and I were still together, we'd reach that stage in the relationship where you wake up next to someone, don't you? You turn over and look at them, and you start dressing them with your eyes. But I'm not too worried, because I like to think that sexual intercourse is a little bit like riding a bicycle, in that I think it's more fun in the park. And I like to ring a little bell to let people know I'm coming.
Right. Well, that was lovely. So, divorced?
Yeah.
Did you know, Sean, that actually married men are happier, live longer, and single women are happier and live longer? So what would you say about that?
I look forward to ruining the lives of a couple of single women. So.
Great answer. Loving it. Yes, it's okay. If you had to relive a day in your past, from your past,
Yeah.
which one would you pick and why?
Oh.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm creative.
I guess the birth of my first child. Yeah, it's nice, isn't it? Yeah. Sleep with me. But yeah, it was a very exciting day. It changed my life. Something I'm very happy about. She was 16 yesterday, so it's been a while.
Well done, Duddy. Yeah, 16, that is, I mean, pretty legal, pretty grown up. 16.
Still talking.
Still talking to you.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a success. I mean, you're doing something right. Teenagers normally don't. They just
Yeah.
You know. She talks full sentences.
Yeah.
Full sentences. Oh my God, is that because you are Cambridge educated? Because I did actually stalk you a bit.
Oxford, of course.
Oxford.
We don't like to talk about the other place. But
apologies, but it's
I don't think it is. I think it's just treating children as people. I mean, I know you've got children as well. You probably do the same.
How long have you been sitting on this information? The children are people.
Well, yeah. No, I mean, I'm not saying they are. I'm saying you have to pretend they are, so that ultimately they become people.
They become people. And the other child? Is it just one you have?
No, 2 children. So the other one's 13. She's just turned 13.
Wonderful. If you were to advise a younger comic, and we will have tonight a baby of the comedy, look at this, he's so cute. What would you tell them? Like brutal honesty, none of this kind of like British or, kind of a British politeness and stuff, or may I suggest, but just tell them brutally honestly something that would really help them grow right now to adopt an attitude or habit or anything like that.
Okay, I think the thing that I found most useful, was some advice by Gene Perrott, and he said, write out your set.
Yes.
And go through it and identify where the laughs are with a highlighter, and then suppress as many words as you can between the laughs, so the laughs get closer together.
That is actually nicely done. Well done. Well, thank you so much. You've been a delight. Sean Patrick, everybody. Yay! Wonderful. Now we have one of my favorite ladies. She is also a dancer. She also has a dance background, very much a performing artist, quite a diverse one, you know, well-rounded person. Please welcome to the set, Rebecca Lamb.
Dancing. I always wanted to be a dancer. And my uncle said, don't encourage Rebecca to become a dancer, because she'll just become a stripper. And funny story, yeah, my mum's been asking how I've been making money, because I've started paying my rent cash. And I didn't really want to tell her the real answer, so I told her I was in sales, which is technically the truth. I just didn't mention it was of my own body. So yeah, when I became a stripper, life's going really well at the moment. I was a teacher, and that's why I became a stripper. It's like, at least, no matter what customer you get through the door, at least you know they won't be a child. That's awful. I've been wanting to move country a lot recently. I've been going to New York. They say, you know, New York's so good, they say it twice. I think the person who ever came up with that clearly never tried couscous. See, this is the bit where I normally turn to the audience, but if I had to make a prediction about you right now, your name's Michael. You found this by mistake. You're feeling deeply ashamed now that I pointed you out, and you probably after this you're going to slap your laptop down, and you'll maybe go outside for the first time 6 months. And maybe, sure, yeah, it's just for a cigarette. Just to briefly forget about your bleak existence that's not adding anything to society. I think I'm the worst person who should be brought onto this to discuss well-being. I mean, doesn't it annoy you when you're coming home from the club at 5 a.m. and you see people out for a walk? I'm depressed. You don't see me going out and walking. I cry in my room like a normal person. Jesus. Also, I've spent a lot of money recently on therapy, which is annoying me. I realised I could have spent all that money on drugs and been a lot happier. I would have worked much quicker as well. Do you know what men's biggest fantasy is? All right, it's women in maids' costumes. Their biggest fantasy is women who clean. How fucked is that? Any submissive men in the room? No, it's because they don't want to speak when not spoken to. They're scared they'll be in trouble. It's okay. Yeah, submissive men. Submissive men suck because you cannot win against a submissive man. I mean, you're in an argument and you're saying, you're pathetic, you've got a tiny cock, I'm just going to piss all over you. I mean, it's never going to stop them. I once dated a man who said, I'll let you fuck me in the bum. Yeah, let me. Like I'd won a raffle or something. I mean, I think it's quite fun to do that. I'm not going to lie. Finally see how they like it. A lot, apparently. I thought I was autistic, you know. Would you believe it? Yeah, my first hint at it was my boss brought me into a meeting, and she started with the meeting with, so what is your disability? Which is quite strong, especially from the woman who's the head of HR. And she said, well, you're obviously ADHD, but have you thought about autism as well? And I went and spoke to my friends about it, and I was like, can you believe this? My boss thinks I have autism. And then there was complete silence, which I've gathered over the years isn't the best sign. But, you know, I think maybe they are right. I mean, I am really stubborn. I do have real tunnel vision. And I don't know if this is an autistic thing, but I have an absolute need for attention. I mean, obviously, firstly, this. But also, I don't know how people do it when they're, you know, friends go off and they get married when you're older. I mean, I found it too much when my friend got a rabbit. I like the strokes being for me. But yeah, so yeah, I went and thought, you know, go get a diagnosis. And then I thought about it, and I thought, okay, what if I go, get tested, and I'm not autistic? What then? I'm just a dick with no excuse.
Rebecca, wonderful fellow dancer.
Yes.
Fellow dancer. I was also hoping, that they did, because I did Latin American dancing, which is very skimpy. You show off everything, the middle section and stuff. And some of my jealous family members were saying that I was a lap dancer. I wish I was, because I would have made more money. So, like you. Now, what I'd like from a well-being perspective, how as a dancer, what do you think helps in terms of body movements to transcend into a happier state or more confident state or something like that? And give us a few tricks and tips.
Gosh, no one's coming for me for tricks and tips. How do I feel happy when I dance? Just listen to good music as you dance. You can't dance to a shit song.
I like that.
And I don't know, I think people overthink. I just try and, my rule is it's the definition of dance is movement to music. So as long as it's movement to music, it's dance, baby.
Can't go wrong.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong. I like that.
Don't overthink it.
Don't overthink it and just move. Just move.
It's not for your audience, it's for you at the end of the day.
Oh, I like that. Girl, the points there. It's not for anybody else. Like, dance like no one's watching. That's it.
You can buy that on a T-shirt down below.
Rebecca is going to go into the product development after the show. Wonderful. Well, we do like to encourage innovation, after all. Now, daddy issues, any daddy issues?
Yeah, absolutely.
Please, tell us all about it.
You don't be a stripper and a comedian.
I'll just go straight in. No transition, just go straight in.
So, fun story of how I was born. My mum wanted a third child.
Yes.
My dad said, absolutely not. My mum got pregnant. And he said, well, it's either divorce or an abortion. And here I am.
Oh!
Yeah. Fun story. Really, Dad, if you're watching, it's okay. You financially gave me a bit of money as a kid, so it's all right.
Well, we forgive you, Dad, and we love you unconditionally. And you're a twat. But yes, okay.
You can also get
Do
that.
better!
You can get that on a T-shirt down
That's
below.
it. Next T-shirt. We are on serious production here. No, but you'll give him a chance, right? If he just learns and grows up, grow up, Dad, come on. You'd forgive him and you'd pick up,
Yeah.
It's a waste of time to just hold the grudge, right? Wonderful. Now, if you were in the room, imagine yourself being in the room with everyone you've ever met. Who would you look out for at that party and why?
Definitely my Nana. She's dead.
Go, Nana! Doesn't matter. She's still there in spirit.
Yeah, definitely. I just think she's great crack. She's very funny.
What, did she do crack?
No.
No.
I think if anything, crack would have calmed her down more.
Oh.
She was really quite a wild woman. She just loved pissing people off, and I love that as well. And we could just do that together for the whole party. I think it would be great.
Wonderful. Nanas, special relationships. Thank you so much.
Definitely.
Rebecca Lam, everybody. Woo, 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 woo. So, Valentine's is coming up when we're filming this, obviously. And the other day, somebody said to me, chocolates or flowers. And I said, circular saw and an orgasm. Yes, so, and here's the man. I'm a big fan of a Kama Sutra. Do you know what I mean? Well, this is the chap that kind of co-wrote it. No, I'm just making it up. I mean, he was already there when he was born. But he has studied it because it's in the family, it's their family Bible. Please welcome to the set, wonderful Tharun Chelley.
Hello, everybody. All good? All good? Yes. I love coming on to a stereotype. It's fucking great. Well, the Kama Sutra is absolutely brilliant. I mean, little do you know, I have literally no sex drive these days. So Kama Sutra is wasted on me. Yes. And it's not because I don't have a sex drive, it's because the missus says no. But here we are. Yeah, it's fun to be here. It's in Bedford. This is when I know I fucking made it. That's it. I drove all the way from Leicester to be here. That's it. This is it. This is the pinnacle. This is when I knew I have not made it. This is it. And all you at home, all 20 of you watching, it's fucking great. Yes, like I said, I've come from Leicester to be here, and it used to be cool to be from Leicester at one point. When we won the Premier League, it used to be cool. Yeah, we were cool for like a week. It was alright. It's like, I used to go to people say I'm from Leicester. Go, oh my god, you're from Leicester? That's so cool. And then I was at a gig at Hull the other day, and I said I'm from Leicester. Some guy went, dickhead. I was like, yeah, I mean, we even fucked up COVID. I mean, we had our own lockdown. I mean, how do you fuck up not standing next to someone? I mean, in Leicester, we found a way. And they'd get really fruity about it on the news. They'd be like, it's mostly people from the South Asian community. It's mostly the South Asians. What they wanted to say was, these brown bastards fucked it up. We wouldn't say 2 meter diz, but curry fever. Couldn't fucking help themselves, could they? And here we are. It's this great place. And I was actually at my mum and dad's house the other week, and I was watching this program with my mum. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. It's called Naked Attraction. What a fun experiment. Try watching Naked Attraction with your mum. And then the array of cocks came on the screen. And I was watching my mum, and my mum went, not for me, that one. I go, what do you mean not for you, that one? And I thought it was a race thing. I said, Mum, just because it's a white cock doesn't mean you should just say no. And she goes, no, just not girthy enough. And I was like, oh, Mum, no! Mum, no! I had to switch over to Bake Off just to get away from it. And then Paul Hollywood says soggy bottom. I was like, Mum, no! No, Mum! I've been trying to lose some weight lately. Yeah, because basically this is what happened. Is over Christmas, a few family members came up to me, made me feel a little bit self-conscious because they started doing this thing. They kept on coming up to me and patting me on the belly. Then she came up to me going, you all right? So yeah, so I've been trying to lose some weight. So I've been, trying to hit the gym. And I told my dad, I said, like, Dad, I lost 8 pounds. And he goes, oh, you've been mugged. I'm like, cheers, Dad. But yeah, but then, so what I've been doing, like, trying to hit the gym, get a bench and everything, like, yeah. And then, but what I've been doing, having a lot of protein, like, I eat about 6 eggs a day. And a lot of protein shakes, which does good for the muscles, but it also does other things. It makes certain movements happen. Like my missus came home once and she was moaning about some kids in her school, which, it makes me think, why are you a fucking teacher? And she comes home and she goes like, oh yeah, this kid was dumb. Oh my God, this kid tried to put crayons up his nose. I'm like, every day you tell me the kids are dumb. Like, when do we start blaming the teachers? But never mind. But yeah, and then she starts going off on one. But suddenly, I've got a rupture happening. And before I know it, boom. That's a PG fart, that is. It comes out, and it goes towards her. And I knew it hit her, because she was mid-bitching. And she was like, oh, this kid, oh my God, just literally... Yeah, it's the first time she ever mentioned the word divorce to me. Right. Well, all right, I'm going to leave on a couple of bits here. But I used to do this joke a couple of years ago. Can't really do it anymore now. It used to go like this. Wouldn't it be weird? Wouldn't it be weird? Wouldn't it be weird if we had an Asian Prime Minister? Now I'm like, shit. Thanks a lot, Sunak, you prick. Let me get this out there. He's not our Obama. We don't look at this guy and go, oh, role model. But I didn't even think the guy was Asian. I just thought he looked like an accountant. I didn't think he actually played the part of an Indian. But but then his wife got done for tax evading for it because he's pretty fucking Indian after all. One of my favourite things to do at work is to take a shit. Because it's on company time. They're paying you to poo. Sometimes, I've been there, so I'll be sitting there for like, I'm like, I've been here for 10 minutes. But I do shit a lot. And no, it's not because I eat loads of curry. Shut the fuck up. It's because of my grandma. Now, what we're doing when we're growing up, do this morning routine, brush your teeth, wash your face. Don't you go, now time for poo-poo. But I don't need to poo. She go, poo-poo-poo-poo nicely. But I don't need to poo. Then she get mad. Poo now! Now what you poo, go poo. Out of fear I'd shit myself. then she'd do a thing. Now, I don't know if this is a thing, or she did it for her own sick satisfaction. She'd then get out a bottle of Dettol and pour it down my arsehole. That's right. Bleach poured up my rectum. It's like bloody Chernobyl down there. So that's why I've been left with a brown skin, but a white bumhole. Gets me jobs. It's actually how I got this gig.
Tharun,
Yes.
so how long have you been married? That's not just part of your set. You are actually married.
Yeah, I don't say that for jokes. It's
Okay,
actually
no,
true.
it's the truth.
I don't say,
Because sets is sometimes.
I don't say that for sex appeal. It's just kind of, it's true. I've been married for about a year and a bit.
Well done, you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's a lucky lady, yeah.
Wonderful. Any children?
No.
Are you going to?
Yeah, I found out we're trying.
Okay, trying, yes. So she's in charge properly. Got you strapped in, everything.
Well, there's no strapping in because, I'm an old-fashioned person, She likes zero eye contact and, and so it's just kind of how it is, really. The more I look at her, the more it puts her off, that's where, and that was before we got married, now it's just, I don't even know what it is now, but yeah.
Wonderful. Okay, and culturally, actually, I wanted to ask you culturally because I'm Eastern European and stuff, and I had a very serious relationship with the one Indian guy, Rohit, who was my dance partner.
Of course, I know him. Yeah.
Of course, you know him. No, I'm just saying this. Why I'm asking.
Yeah.
But
we all
I find that our Eastern European and Indian cultures are very, very similar. So, for example, when he came to the Balkans, he would treat elders in the way that was respectable within the Balkan tradition. It's totally different than in Western Europe. So were you aware of that there are parts of Europe, there are parts of the world that are actually quite similar? And what are your observations that you've kind of accumulated in your life in Leicester or outside?
Yeah, I know there is a Europe, and I've figured that bit out, and I know there is an India as well.
Yes,
and,
yes.
Yeah, and I think a lot of cultures, I think what it is, we do look after our elders.
Yes.
As annoying as they can be, it's like my
Sorry, elders.
Yeah, well, they're fine for what it is. I mean, my grandma's okay. She's hanging in there. She said to me once. Well, saying that, she was one of the ones who commented on my weight.
So she was the one who did the belly touch.
Oh, she was one of the ones who did the belly touch.
So sweet, though.
Well, her cooking's not as good as it used to be. But yeah, I mean, I know people. I think it's just when you come to Western countries, they don't tend to look after elders. But I think there's still that respect there.
Yes.
When there's a will involved.
Let's adjust one of your past decisions and to kind of travel in time and see what happens.
I'd probably say any job I've had, I
Really?
would adjust it
Okay.
to actually putting some effort in. I would do.
Brilliant. Yeah. Loving it. Thank you so much, Tharun Chelley, everybody.
Thank you for having me.
That was brilliant. Thank you so much. Amazing. Now, this next act. She's the only lady on the comedy circuit, I'm pleased to say, that wears her hats better than I do. She even wears them for her sets. Please welcome to the set, Joe Phaure! Woo!
So they say dress for the job you want, and I find that a bit worrisome. I think people might think I want a job, so I've taken to nudism just to make it really clear I'm not looking for work. Do you know what I mean? But that's caused confusion itself. So I had a few offers, if I'm honest. Okay, I got dumped, but he was one of those 5'7" guys, right? You know the ones I mean. The ones that are 5'5", yeah. It's fine. They're easier to get over, right? You just kind of leapfrog. And I had hoped straight onto the next dick, but it turns out that actually catching a dick in your 40s is nearly as hard as leapfrogging over an adult man. You need to be quite fit for either, and I am not there, so yeah, no, he was one of those guys. He used to say to me, I was bad at spatial awareness, but the thing is, like, I I'm 5'2", and like if I put on a 3-inch heel, I know how tall you are. You know, I can do the maths. It's just maths. You know. So yeah, I knew how tall he was. It's just a shame he didn't. But there you go. So yeah, it's fine. He won't see this. He's not subscribed to my YouTube channel. It's kind of annoying though, because like it doesn't matter how many times I forward him the link. It's just not interested. But yeah, like, and it's annoying because I have actually fucked all of the other subscribers. So like, it just feels like a list he should be on. But you know, actually he wasn't on social media at all. That's right. He was a drug dealer. And honestly, you know, splitting up with your boyfriend's bad, but splitting up with your boyfriend and your drug dealer in 1 week it's brutal, you know. And then you find out you're 40, and like no one plans on becoming a cougar. Like you just suddenly understand why it's a predatory animal. Oh, the prey don't want to get caught. I get it. Like the worst thing is I'm not even the best cougar in my household. Like my mum is 76 and her fella is 40. And that's not even a joke, man. I'm just so proud. So the other weird thing about my ex, and as I've said, don't worry, you won't see this, is that he had really, really tiny balls. And the thing is, like, I really liked it, right? Because it didn't matter what he did, I could still breathe. One of my friends said to me, he was like, I think one of the reasons that you're struggling to catch a dick is because you're an alpha. And I didn't really know what that meant, but I did like the sound of it, you know? Sounded good. Turned out I'd interrupted him, which is apparently is very alpha. But what he actually meant to say was that I'm an alphabet spaghetti lady. I've got a lot of letters after my name, but I don't make any sense. Yeah, so apparently the MSC is counteracted by the ADHD. And now all of my exes have PTSD. And at least one has an STD, but that's nothing to do with me. My dad's Indian. And I have to tell people that because I'm very fair-skinned for a half-Indian person, but which is actually, I always used to think was the ideal kind of mixed race. Essentially, I can use the diversity call if I need to, but I don't have to wear it up front if it's causing trouble, you know, it's ideal. So I was the only person of colour in my primary school that didn't run a food restaurant. You know, there was one Chinese girl whose family ran a Chinese restaurant and one Indian boy whose family ran the Indian restaurant, and my dad was a criminal, so people didn't know how to categorise us, to be honest. No, so I mean, obviously that's nothing to do with him being Asian, but at the same time, there's a crossover in skill sets. Do you know what I mean? They do like a bargain. It's in the blood. Do you know what I mean? And the best bargain I've ever had is when you just help yourself. Do you know what I mean? Like, so criminality is in my blood. It's like I aspire to be working class, but I'm actually chav class. Do you know what I mean? I'm from the criminal underworld, and if it ain't nailed down, I will take it. That's the truth. But I mean that probably comes more from my Cockney mum, to be fair. No, so the thing is, so my dad was given 6 months to live in May, and in case you can't do maths, we are well fucking past that. And I've got a holiday booked in a couple of months, so it's a bit worrying for me. Will you fucking hurry up and die, dude? Do you know what I mean? And just so you know, I haven't got an inheritance. He's just an arsehole. It's fine. I want him to go. No, he's actually. No, it's fine. I'm really proud of him, actually, because he's really dug in and become a much more belligerent arsehole as he's got older and sicker. So I feel like, you know, that is what I can inherit from him. Because one of the things I tried recently to try and see if it could help me find a man was, and I know my looks are fading, I'm getting older, you know, maybe it's time to try and develop a personality. It has not worked out because, obviously, I'm a cunt.
So it's so lovely to be, the double cunt set, really. It's just loving it. I mean, loving it.
Indeed.
Loving it that I can say that, because in Britain, actually, that is an endearing term, right? So I see you next Thursday, on Skits and Quibbles.
I mean, I think it depends if it's someone shouting it at you from a bus or if it's one of your oldest friends.
Did you find that difficult growing up? How did you find that? Being different? Because I always found I was different.
I mean, to be honest, being a cunt was more difficult.
That too.
That was always a barrier. But actually, my experience of being half Indian is very strange because I'm quite fair-skinned and because my dad is Anglo-Indian, which means he's from the part of India where they have Western culture. He's Catholic. And they hadn't lived in India for 2 generations, so they actually thought of Indians as the sort of people you might employ. Like, I'm not saying that I think that, but that's just that's my family. So
Catholic was a Portuguese colony.
Yes, exactly.
Portuguese.
He didn't think of himself as Indian, or even to an extent foreign. When he came to this country, he wanted to integrate so strongly and so deeply. It was never spoken about in my household at all.
Oh, okay, yes.
At all. And it was only I can remember bringing a school friend home at 12 and them acting racist at my dad, and me being, oh no. What have I done? My dad's brown, and I've brought someone here to be racist. Brilliant. What a day it's been. Like, it was a huge revelation because it just wasn't discussed or acknowledged in my household that he was not white.
Now, Cougar. Cougar. Are you a MILF too?
I don't think
or
so.
Or are you a MILF?
I think some. You know what? It's been so long since anyone tried to chat. Like, my experience is that I'm very scary to men, I think. Like, I'm not good. I'm too forthright. Apparently, just like, so do you want to fuck is not. They don't like that.
They
It's
don't?
No. And I'm like, I don't want to waste time flirting if this is just a fuck. Like, we're either doing it or we're not doing it. I don't.
Wow.
I don't need Let's not waste time on admin. Don't turn it into an admin task.
Yeah, there's no need for paperwork, guys.
There's
no
so
need
much
for
admin on the apps. I don't want to do it. I'm just like, I can't be bothered. I'm just like, yes or no. Is it a yes or a no? I've looked at your pictures. It seems like it could be a yes. Don't talk. Do we fuck or do we not fuck? But apparently that's not a successful strategy for men.
So what makes younger men hot? What makes older men hot? Let's just hear a tip or two.
Oh, I see. I think...
regardless of the size of the balls.
I'm not... Yeah, well, that's... it turns out... So when I first told that joke, someone in the audience who had even tinier or balls came on to me, and I was like, dude, I'm not a fucking collector. I'm not like a connoisseur of small balls. It's not a thing.
Loving it.
I honestly... Surely it's got to be the brains is the most of it. If you connect with someone, if you have that spark and you can have a laugh and then that's
if they
attractive.
can fuck
it
your
really
brain,
doesn't
yes.
matter what they look like that much. I mean, obviously, if you can feel them when they're inside you, that is also a bonus.
Wonderful. Brilliant advice and witty and hilarious at the same time. Joe Phaure, everybody. Wonderful. And finally, to our wonderful headliner. He is one of the biggest names in the British comedy. Absolute comedy writing genius. Sean Meo, please welcome him to the set.
So I have gigged all over the world. I've gigged in third world countries like Ethiopia, Somalia and Scotland. And Scotland is the only place I've ever been to where they're actually looking forward to global warming. Some of these people have to masturbate twice a day just to stop themselves from getting hypothermia. I'm looking forward to global warming. Anything to stop me putting that heating on, right? I've actually started learning Russian so I can actually renegotiate my next gas bill. I think it was really funny that McDonald's withdrew from all their business from Russia. I thought that would teach him, wouldn't it? You know, that would teach him. We're supposed to be punishing these arseholes, not forcing them into healthy options. Russia have actually been banned from the Eurovision Song Contest. Yeah, that will stop them, won't they? We can't enter shit competition and play a appalling song, Yuri. We must withdraw our troops from Ukraine. So I've actually been doing some charity work at the moment for a society you may have heard of called Blowjobs Matter. Supporters have to go on both knees for that one. Thank you. My parents would be so proud. Talking to my parents, you know, my dad rang me up the other day and said, son, don't tell your brothers, but I think I've got Alzheimer's. I said, you told me that yesterday. The oldies are the best, right? So I actually was looking for a bit more substance in my life because, you know, I was reading about religions, you know. My favourite story last year was that the Pope got stuck in a lift. Did you see that story in the news? The Pope got stuck in a lift in the Vatican. What better way to find out, right, that you do not have a direct line to God than being the head of the Catholic Church, stuck in a lift in the Vatican, desperately trying to get those choir boys to put their clothes back on? I don't even know what the Pope's doing in a lift. He's got legs, hasn't he? Bishops need lifts, obviously, because they can only move diagonally. Now, there is a rule, there's a kind of adage in this country here that, I mean, I don't know if you guys know this, there's obviously so many of you in here, I haven't got time to deal with all of you, but how many people here think the fire brigade need more money? I do too. Because when you're playing 3-card brag for 18 hours a day, I think you need all the extra coins you can get your hands on. They're mental, aren't they, the fire brigade? They're always going on strike. They always want shorter hours and better conditions. I always think, what are you talking about? An hour is 60 minutes, isn't it? There's nothing anyone can do about that. And better conditions, for Christ's sake, the places they're going to are on fire. How much easier do they want it, right? But whenever the fire brigade go on strike, they send in the army. Dustbin men go on strike, they bring in the army. I was talking to a midwife the other day, and she said the midwives of England are considering going on strike. And I thought, Christ, I hope they don't bring in the army for that. There's going to be some pretty brutal births. Instead of a woman in a white coat going, push, dear, push, there'll be a couple of guys with camouflage jackets and machine guns going, listen, you've got 2 minutes to come out, or we're coming in. So that's the kind of stuff I do. It's all a bit brutal. It's always nice to have a nutter in the audience. Thank you very much indeed. I don't know how you got out of the boot of the car, but thanks for coming. So here's a weird thing, right? I'm actually struggling at the moment. I'm trying to sell my flat, obviously, which is it's upset the landlord like no end. You wouldn't believe it, but he keeps saying, you can't do that. I'm going, hey, man, I'll pay the rent. You don't seem to do anything at all. I'm always beset with dilemmas. The other day I saw 3 guys beating the shit out of an estate agent, and I had that dilemma. Do you walk on by or do the right thing and go over and join in? So here's a weird thing. I was on Romanian Airlines the other day, and I thought EasyJet was a cheap airline. I've never been offered Lucky Heather on a plane before. The guy's going, I'll give you a special price. I'm going, you're a pilot, dude. I don't think this works. Here's a weird thing about plane travel, right? Do you know the last thing a pilot ever says on the black box flight recorder is, oh, shit. Have you ever heard this? It's apparently true. The last thing they ever say about it is, oh, shit. Even if they're Japanese, they do that. They go, oh shit, right? And people get upset about it, and they go, he swore he was profane. I think, what the hell do you expect him to do? Well, thanks for crashing on British Airways. Sorry about that. That last bit was all right, though. We stayed up for ages. The temperature on the ground is 10 degrees. But I think it might go up a little bit when we hit it. This is definitely the last time you can buy duty-free, so if you do have the correct change, that'd be pretty handy. They say airline travel is the safest mode of travel in the world. I can't believe they can keep you up in the air for like 12 hours, 500 passengers luggage, and they can't make a cheese sandwich. Does anyone see that film? They've remade it, right? I can't believe how crap airline food is. Like even now, it's not that good, right? Do you remember that film Alive? It's now been remade as a Society of the Snow, where these guys crash in the Andes and they have to survive by eating the other passengers' dead bodies. I'm pretty sure there was still food left on that plane. They just didn't want to risk it. Do you want a bit of this British Airways sandwich? No, just mean a hunk of iced buttock. There's something quite forthright about being a stand-up where you have choices. You you can go on and do an act, which is fair enough, because when you first start doing it, you're trying to find yourself on stage, right?
Yes.
And I think that as you go further into it, and you have to keep in love with it, it's a bit like a relationship. You know, if you fall out of love with it, this is going to be such a hard thing to do, right? But also, you're developing yourself, and you have to make quite a few mistakes to chip away and find out what's worth pursuing. And I've been doing this for about 36 years, and I remember thinking how hard it was to start doing when I started it. But as you go along, you sometimes bump into people, and they say, "Cool, your old stuff was much more upbeat and stuff." And you go, "Yeah, but life has a real way of chipping away at that." And I think you have to learn to fight back. And one of the best things about stand-up is to be true to yourself. I really appreciate what the young lady said before me. You've got to be honest about who you are. Otherwise, there's no point in doing this. I think you can be a jukebox and you can copy other people. There's a difference between copying and being influenced by. And I think you have to be true to who you are. Otherwise, there's no real inner joy with doing this. I think you're just a performing monkey. And there's a whole raft of people out there that kind of hide behind having an eclectic act. But what they really mean is they can dip into anything that's been done and sort of and change a couple of words and then pass that off as an act. And there's nothing to stop you doing that. There's no litigation process you can go through. But I think one of the best things about doing this is it's an outlet for all the things that piss you off and also some of the things that you really like. But it's a great thing to be able to do, because I think without doing this, I'd be probably facing between 30 to 40 years in jail. Because I know me. I think if you ask me what's my ambition is, it's to not to end up in jail. Because I think it's one of the biggest wastes of time. A lot of people seem to think it's going to be fun going to jail, but I've talked to a few people who've been in jail, and it's one of the biggest, loneliest things to do. I think I used to be really that they should get rid of them. But I think having your whole life to sit there and think about what you've done is actually the biggest punishment you could have. It's too easy to kill them. It's too easy to kill them. I mean, I've got one exception to that, and I think that's I think if you commit crimes against children, they should just execute them. But because there's no, why should we pay for it? But the rest of them, they should learn their lesson. Because I think someone said something quite interesting to me about life the other day, is that you're not allowed to leave until you've learned your lesson. That's quite a nice thing to say, isn't it?
Just unapologetically.
No, I mean,
hilarious.
the thing is, here's a big deal. Here's a big thing about comedy now, if you're asking me seriously. There are lots and lots of people trying to do this, and I don't think you can't really stand out unless you're, you have a unique selling point for yourself. And that unique selling point is how you feel about this world. I think Jerry Seinfeld's very, very erudite about this. When you're an actor, you're trying to find out who other people are. When you're a stand-up, you're trying to find out who you are. And the longer you do it, the more you find out about yourself. And it's a bit of a waste to nick things or try and be something you're not. And I think it's a bit of a waste of your life to do the same thing. You're trying to find out who you are. And you don't know how long you've got, so don't waste any time. And that's easier said than done, isn't it? I think it's a very, look, the problem with lots of this is when you have a boom in something, you have a lot of people at the top giving people at the bottom the idea that you could become famous. But I think what's really good about this is this could be it. Be a club comic, be a really good club comic, and be a progressive, ever-evolving person on stage, and it can be much better than doing a job that you hate. I mean, you know, most people really, really are struggling. They're rowing a boat with no land in sight, up to here in water, financially, and there's nothing in it for them. When you do this, you can drive down that motorway with things to try, drive home and post-mortem it, and be really serious about it, and build yourself some sort of life that isn't just the drudgery.
Loving it. Are they going gently down the stream or up
I don't know. I think a lot of people are struggling more than the... I think there's no end in sight of financial woe for a lot of people. Everything's going up a much higher price than... Every time they increase the living wage, it's just not enough. Yes. So, and also, I think... you know, I can see from what I do another job, I can see how much people are trying to shut themselves off with earphones and vaping and anything else that they do during the working hours to just try and kill the time. It's like school with money. And I thought, what a waste of life. I've got to try and find a way to make it fun and take some pride in what you do. And then if you do this is a bonus doing this. This is great. I would do this if I didn't get paid.
Oh, I love it. That's exactly it. If you're passionate about doing it. Now, about the other job. The other job is you teach snooker.
Well, I do a few things. I teach snooker, which, again, has a kind of... I used to play full-time in the 80s, and Yeah, it was okay. You know, but I really
I've seen
thought
him play. He's
I
more
really,
than okay.
I think what's good with it is that in snooker you close everybody else out, and you have to concentrate on a very small and very, very precise angle and weight of shot. And it's you have to get in the zone for that, and I think it has a kind of meditative, very unlikely for me to say that, karmic effect on your brain. I look at it like that, and it offsets the physical stuff, because I do a lot of exercise. So if I do that, and I do the snooker as well, and when I teach people, I like to actually say, listen, do you want me to tell you how to do it? Do you want me to show it's done? Because I think if you can show them how it's done, then there's a lot of faffing around with coaches. They know all the theory, but they can't do it. And I like to be able to go, right, this is how you do it. In order to keep up at that standard, I have to practice it like everything else. I have to practice what I'm not good at. I have to repeat all the things I'm not good at. And that has a knock-on effect on everything else. Same with jokes. When you're running in a routine, you're trying to get the words out in the right order, then see where the breaks are, and yet sometimes you have to kill your babies and go, that's not working. And then you have to put them closer and closer to the front. There's always something you can be doing. I think if you're a working stand-up and you're trying to get involved in this, have an agenda. Don't pick more than 3 or 4 things to try that are new.
That's it.
And,
Big rocks.
And use the rest of your set to protect it.
Yes. Final question. How do you keep yourself balanced, physically and mentally?
Oh, I did say to someone that one of the poorest choices you could ever have made is get me on a show that's about balance.
Ooh, loving it. Even more important to have you here.
I like everyone else, tries to, you know, I think the honest truth of it is the best of me and the worst of me are the same thing, and you've got to keep those things in check.
It's so well said.
I think the best of me is really good, and I think the worst of me will end me up in jail.
Sir, it's been an absolute pleasure. Sean Meo, everybody. So please, welcome to the set once again. Just show our appreciation. Our first performer, Sean Patrick from Ireland. Yes. Then we have Rebecca Lamb. Woo, 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 woo. Tharun Chelley. Yes, all the way from Leicester. Joe Phaure coming on with a very, very fashionable hat. And finally, our comedy writing genius, Sean Meo. Woo-hoo! And I've been your host, Gordana, Micic, and see you next week, darlings, and keep laughing.